Even a bird with its little tiny brain knows that it needs to build a nest before it lays its eggs in it. And so at 19, what nest did I have? Peace and power, peace and power. Welcome to another episode of Raw Success. My name is True Khepra, and this is
Mack and Bonnet.
Yeah, and our mission and purpose in life is to empower you to be the best version of yourself.
Yes.
So today's episode is about the 3 worst things that we did in our teens. This is a series. So this is the teen part. All right, so let's get into it.
Yes.
Mac, what's your number 1, brother?
So the number 1 I have to say is not taking advantage of living with my parents. I made a lot of money in my teens.
Really?
I did. I made a lot of money. We might have to share that for another episode. I was working for the mall, and it was a lot of things around.
Okay.
We don't need to get into details.
That's another episode.
Another episode for now. But yeah, I made a lot of money and just spent it foolishly. At that time, I was big on the throwback Mitchell and Ness jerseys.
Man, they were like $350 a pop.
Yes, Jordans, and I just never took advantage of not having any bills. It was all used towards fashion. And if you ask me now, I can't tell you where one of those jerseys are.
Right.
Right. Yeah, that's definitely one. Yeah.
Okay. So I would say the number 1 for me is consuming weed and alcohol at a very early age. And that's not to demonize those things. But you got to remember, the brain is still developing until the mid to late 20s, according to science. Not that I'm an expert in that. And to just think about that, like my brain is still developing. I'm a teenager and I'm consuming alcohol and weed. So I would say definitely just the impact of that, the collateral damage of me just being drunk, making stupid choices. There was like so many times where I put my own life in danger and the life of others in danger. It's just, even reckless driving. And also too, like the habit, like I know there's different levels of addiction, but I was an alcoholic. You know what I'm saying? I was an alcoholic, and it spilled over into my 20s, and again, I know that there's different variations to that, so I don't want to like disrespect anyone who's like really going through it. But the science is like I needed alcohol for social gatherings. I didn't feel comfortable without alcohol. I drank every day. What does that sound like to you? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, and sort of, connected to yours, all the money I wasted on alcohol. Not just on the block. Like I'm from 10th Ave and 23rd. We would literally buy gallons of Henny. Like, no joke. We're teenagers. We're drinking gallons of Henny, fam. And also, like, in the clubs, as a drug dealer, you're in VIP. So you spending dumb amount of money for bottles and only getting 1 sip because all your broke friends are drinking. No disrespect to my friends. I love y'all. You know what I'm saying? But, so I would say definitely weed and alcohol. And then the shame that I brought to my house, like my mother seeing me like that, You know what I'm saying? Seeing her only son, her oldest son, who was a teen, and it's crazy because I have teens now. I'm like, damn, what the hell was I doing? And her seeing me just acting stupid. Like at one time, I almost put my hands on her boyfriend because I thought he stole my money. You know what I'm saying? But it was just because I was out of my mind, and I actually ended up finding my money. You know what I mean? And I would say too, like even almost getting killed. Like besides like the driving recklessly, like I remember there was one time I was hanging out in the A-Raw land. That's Park Ave and Carroll. You know what I mean? Shout out to my A-Raw brothers. My man Coach is behind the board. He's part of A-Raw. Salute. And I was drunk out of my mind, bro. And I decided to walk home. It's crazy. Walk home from Park Ave and Carroll all the way to 10th Ave. If you're not from Patterson, you don't know what that means, but it's a walk. It's a hike. and it's dark, it's late. And during that walk, I ended up getting robbed and getting pistol whipped. You know what I'm saying? And I could have gotten killed. You know, when they pulled out the gun and asked me for my stuff, you know, I had a chain on, I had a leather on, Tim's, you know, walking home. I threw a 1-2, you know what I mean? And thankfully, instead of killing me, they decided to pistol whip me. You know what I'm saying? And I woke up hours later, it was raining, my Timbs are missing, my chain's missing. You know what I'm saying? My face is looking like swollen elephant man, you know what I mean? So, yeah, I would just definitely say like weed and alcohol, bro, at an early age. Yeah.
So for number 2, that was actually what I had on the list as well. Not the alcohol, but definitely just smoking weed and, you know.
It's crazy. I can't even imagine you smoking weed.
Oh, bro, I was doing like a quarter every 3 days, just going in, you know, smoking a lot, spent a lot of money on that and dealing with, you know, of course you love them now, you grew up with them, they're all part of your story, but growing up with the knuckleheads and you got like the mollies and everything else that came with that, you know, and so it unfortunately is like looked up on in like certain cultures and music and things like that.
Right.
But, you know, just the overall effects that it has on your finances, on your mentality.
Right.
And it was just, it was a lot. And I remember days where I'm just laying there, or, you know, if we're just out playing video games, high out our mind, and I'm just looking and just like, yeah, this ain't it, you know? Yeah. So definitely did that for years, you know, before making that. So yeah, that was actually one of the things that, you know, one of my regrets as well. So it's important that you say that, and it's important that the people listening hear that as well, you know, especially the younger folks. You know, we do things thinking like, we know we're young and we get it. It's definitely part of your journey. We're not here to judge. We're here to tell you about our stories and hope that you can learn through our experiences versus having to go through some of the rougher parts yourself.
Because I'm telling you, and my young people out there, serious. I really want you to listen to me. It makes no sense for you to not take heed to wisdom. We're not claiming to know it all. We're not claiming that we're the smartest people on the planet, but it just makes no sense. You have the ability right now to take heed to some word. My man told you smoking. I told you I was drinking and smoking. And I'm going to keep it real with you. One of the things that got me up out of that is I reflected in my life and I realized that most of the negative things that were happening in my life were connected to weed and alcohol. And I asked myself, what would happen if I took those things out? You know, so definitely please take heed. I'm talking to you like you're my son or you're my daughter. You know, I tell them the same thing. Like, it makes no sense. And you know what, too? Just we'll wrap it up and we'll move on to the next point. Like, what I don't think is cool, too, is like when people say, oh, that's just the phase that you do that. And like, who's to say that it has to be a phase or a stage in life? Like, I got a daughter who goes to you know, university. And, you know, in university, they're known to party and drink and smoke. Oh, it's just a stake. Who said that? Who said that you have to do that? That has to be a stage? Like, ask yourself this. Are the successful students that are taken into the next level, what are they doing? You know, and I know everybody defines success differently. And I'm not telling you can't have fun. I'm just telling you that there's another way. You can have fun sober. I know that sounds corny, but seriously, like, do you want your fun to be attached with substance abuse? That's the only way to have fun? So I say train yourself now to have fun sober.
100%.
Yeah, I don't mean to sound like a damn commercial, but you know, like we care.
Yes.
Like, Jen, we do this because we care. Like, we're very busy men. You know what I'm saying? Yes, we enjoy doing this, but we truly care. That's why we're doing this.
Yes.
So, my number 2 mistake that I did as a teen is not taking school serious. Man. And this is the thing. I hated school, but I loved to learn. And there were teachers that would point out the fact that I had the potential, but I just wasn't listening. And I was trying to focus on trying to be cool. And I'm going to tell y'all, man, being dumb is not cool. Like, where did that come from? Being smart is cool, man. Having a sharp mind is cool. And so definitely, because, again, I always speak about the collateral damage of things. So there's like A and B, like A happens, and because of A happening, B happens. But life doesn't happen like that. There's indirect things that are happening that you may not even be aware of because of A and B. I mean, even to this day, because I didn't take school serious, there's certain fundamental things that I didn't learn at a young age that I struggle with now. For example, writing a professional email. I know that sounds crazy and like a simple example, but I have to get like a email sent to a professional, like looked at again, like, yo, is it okay? Nah, yo, you got to add a comma here and a period here. And it's just because I didn't take school serious and I didn't develop like the foundational skills. So that's one thing. And another part of the collateral damage behind not taking school serious is that so what was I doing when I wasn't taking school serious? What was I doing? Cutting class. What was I doing when I was cutting class? You know it. I was getting in trouble. So yeah, not taking school serious is definitely up there with me. And the thing is, what I want y'all to know, to my young people, you pay for it. Like I'm telling you, man, you cannot escape consequences. You will pay for it. It's not the end all be all. It's not the end of life, but you're just making your life harder.
100%. 100%. And the third part that I had was, so I took my real estate exam the very first time when I was 18 years old, fresh out of high school. Mm-hmm. And I still remember missing it by 1 or 2 points. And I didn't take it again for like another maybe, let me see, if I was 18, maybe another 15 or so years after. So just thinking if I maybe started earlier, then that learning curve may have been quicker and easier. And it just makes you think, like, I wonder if it went that route, where would I be now? But we always have that where would I be type of mindset, right?
Right.
Because it could go either way, Right. At that time, that was before the real estate crash, right. So if I was licensed there and I had to go endure that, I could have stepped away like, nah, this isn't for me, and then take away. I could have had properties and then lost it all. We always think like what it could have been, but it's not always positive, and we just have to take advantage of the now, So that was definitely one thing that I wish I did different. And I think the lesson, that I could share with others regarding just that, I guess you could say mistake is, follow your goals and follow your dreams until it happens. What is it? Pray, and the acronym behind pray is persist. Pray. Sure. Push. Okay. Persist until something happens. So yeah, that's
persist until something happens.
Yes, you got to push
That's
for it.
Fire. That's fire.
Yeah. What about you?
For me, the third one would be, man, I love my children. I love my children. And it's interesting you said things can happen both ways. And I'll tell you why. Because my third one is having children at a young age. I had my first child when I was 19. And at 19, I was out of my mind, heavy in the streets. You know what I'm saying? And I love my daughter, and if you've heard me speak before, when I do my speaking or just in general, I always say that my daughter saved my life. She's one of the reasons why I actually left the streets alone. So it sounds almost contradictory, right, or hypocritical. It's like, oh, I was having children at a young age. But what I'm saying is this, the message that I'm saying to the young folks is like Dr. Frances Cress Welsing, may she rest in power, one of my favorite psychologists, said, even a bird with its little tiny brain knows that it needs to build a nest before it lays its eggs in it. And so at 19, what nest did I have? I thought, I was the man. I was making more than most adults in my life and all of that through drug money and so forth. But, I wasn't privy to the fact that once you have a seed and you are responsible, the self-exploration, the self-development is slowed down to a degree where you don't even know where you could take it to, because now your intention is for this other life. And so I'm just realizing now that I could have been more developed. I could have grown more in different areas if I would have planned. Mack and I did a book review on the book, The Compound Effect. And in that book, they spoke about life planning and career planning. I didn't do either one. And meanwhile, I'm bringing children into the life. And so, again, I love my daughter. I love all my children. But having children at a young age, listen, young men, young women, when you're in your teenage years, early 20 years, focus on developing yourself.
It's the building years.
Yes. Focus on self-discovery. And yes, focus on having fun and enjoying life and traveling. And so I would say that. And if I could give a quick bonus.
Yes, please.
I would say living a life of crime in my teens. Obviously there's lessons that I learned and whatnot, and I wouldn't be who I am today without that lifestyle. But I would say that too. There's like, for example, by the time at the age of 25, I owned 2 properties. That was through drug money, right? My friend Zulman's son just purchased his first property at, I think he's 25, part of me. And straight up hardworking young man. And there's lessons and character development that you learn through the process of doing the things, what I'm going to call the right way. And when I say right, I don't mean like morally. And so, again, collateral impact, collateral damage. When you get things the fast way, what suffers is your ability to learn patience, your ability to appreciate the slow grind, the journey, and so forth. So I would say, those are the mistakes that I did as a teen.
Yes, 100%. To what you just said, it reminds me of a Les Brown quote where he says, "Easy come, easy go." As simple as that. I'm sure he's not the first one to say it, but when he said it, it was very impactful. But that's how it is. That easy money, those easy rewards, right, that don't take much effort. Sometimes, those are the easiest to leave. Those are the things you don't hold on to.
If you know any teenagers, or if you have teenagers, or maybe anybody in their 20s, whatever, that can benefit from this conversation, please share this video, smash that like button, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend. Raw success.
Peace.
Peace.